Goku is one of the most iconic anime characters in the world. You don't even have to watch anime to know who this character is, because of how much he has impacted pop culture for many fans around the world. But despite Goku being such a big inspiration and being loved by millions of fans in the community, there is always one thing that people tend to always criticize him for, and that is him as a father. Goku's parenting skills has been a big topic amongst the Dragon Ball community for decades now, with people saying he loves his sons and you have people saying he is neglectful and only cares about fighting strong opponents. You even have people comparing Goku to some of the worst dads in fiction on social media posts, which I think is just ridiculous, because Goku is far from a bad father, and I would go as far as to say that he might be up there with one of the best dads in anime. So in this video, I'm going to go through why I think Goku is a better father than people realize, and hopefully change your perspective on Goku as a character because of this. So first off, let's have a look at both of Goku's deaths in Dragon Ball. Now in Dragon Ball, pretty much all of the main cast have died at least once, but Goku has actually died twice, and both deaths have something in common, and that being they were both sacrifices to save his son Gohan. When we are first introduced to Raditz in the Saiyan saga, he captures Gohan and says that if Goku wants to take his son back, he will have to kill 100 humans to get him back. Goku at that time was not strong enough to beat him by himself, but he still called his Nimbus Cloud immediately to go after Raditz in order to get Gohan back, despite him not being strong enough to beat him. Then in the fight against Raditz, Goku was willing to die alongside Raditz to protect those he cares about, including Gohan, who was the main reason why Goku even fought against Raditz in the first place. And he was even willing to team up with Piccolo, who at the time was his greatest enemy, just so he can have a fighting chance of defeating Raditz. Then with his death in the Cell games, it was due to another sacrifice in order to protect Gohan, who would have been caught in Cell's explosion. Before using his instant transmission, Goku says he is proud of Gohan, and he asks him to tell Chi-Chi that he is sorry, so even in his last moments he was thinking about his family. And even after he died, he still helped Gohan by encouraging him to defeat Perfect Cell, and that led to the father-son Kamehameha, which is one of the most iconic techniques in all of Dragon Ball. When the Z-Fighters asked Senran to revive Goku, Goku actually declined the wish and preferred to stay dead in order to protect the Earth from threats, since he felt that he was like a magnet that brought all the villains to Earth. Raditz went to Earth to search for Goku, and that led to his son getting captured, and the whole reason why Cell was even created was because Dr. Gero wanted revenge on Goku, and Cell ended up becoming Gohan's toughest opponent yet. So both deaths involved Goku making a decision to sacrifice himself to protect his family and friends. And I think it's funny that there are people out there that actually said that Goku wanted to stay in Otherworld just so he can face off against those strong fighters in the afterlife, but that was never once stated in the series. Or they say that because Goku stayed for 7 years, which was most of Goten's childhood, he is a deadbeat father, which also doesn't make sense because the whole reason why he even stayed dead was so that he can protect everyone he cares about, including Chi-Chi and Gohan. And since Goku always gets hate for being a bad father, the opposite tends to happen with Piccolo. Piccolo being a better father than Goku is one of the biggest topics in the community, and although it may have stemmed from memes or some jokes from Dragon Ball Z Abridged, there are people who genuinely feel that is actually the case. Now don't get me wrong, I do think that Piccolo and Gohan have one of the best duos in Dragon Ball, but that doesn't make him a better father than Goku. Piccolo barely even raised Gohan, unlike Goku. If we compare how much time Gohan has spent with each of them, Gohan has spent a lot more time with Goku throughout the series. We were first introduced to Gohan at the beginning of the Saiyan saga, when he was only 4 years old at the time. So we know that Goku and Chi-Chi raised him from birth on Mount Paozu away from civilization, because everyone was actually surprised when they found out that Goku had a kid since the last time they saw him. Goku also trained Gohan with Piccolo for 3 years in preparation for the androids. Then in the Room of Spirit and Time, Goku and Gohan trained for a whole year, and Gohan learns to become a Super Saiyan, and even learns to upgrade it to Super Saiyan Grade 4, which allows him to walk around in the Super Saiyan state without losing much stamina. But the only times we see Piccolo and Gohan together was during the 3 years in preparation for the androids, where Goku was also present, and the 1 year training in preparation for the Saiyan invasion. And they didn't even spend a year together during that time period, because Piccolo literally left him alone in the wilderness for 6 months to teach him about survival, which did end up being good for Gohan in the long run, but that meant they only spent 6 months to train together, and that was only half the amount of time Gohan spent training with Goku in the Room of Spirit and Time. So you mean to tell me that Piccolo, who only trains Gohan for 6 months, is a better father than Goku, who not only raised him from birth, but also spent more time training with him in the Room of Spirit and Time?
You're so stupid, you're stupid!
People also say that Piccolo is a better father than Goku during Gohan's fight against Cell. Piccolo scolds Goku for making Gohan fight against Cell at such a young age, and you do see how much Piccolo cares for Gohan, but what Piccolo didn't realize was that no one other than Gohan could defeat Cell. Because Goku and Gohan trained for a year in the Room of Spirit and Time, Goku was able to truly see how much potential Gohan has, and it was Goku's high levels of faith and belief in Gohan that when we saw Gohan beat up Cell in Super Saiyan 2, everyone realized that Goku was right. I don't know about you, but having an absurd level of belief in your child is a good parental trait. That's why he was so confident that he gave Cell a Senzu Bean to prove that Gohan can beat Cell at full strength, and Cell will have no excuse when he loses. Maybe Goku should have talked to Gohan about it beforehand, since Gohan isn't battle hungry like Goku is. But as soon as Goku realized his mistake, he immediately told Krillin to give him a senzu bean to go after Cell. And if you want to bring up the scene where Gohan wanted to fight in Piccolo's outfit, that was just Gohan showing respect to the one who taught him how to fight. Because in the Buu saga, Gohan as an adult chooses to fight in Goku's gi after getting his full potential unlocked, showing how much he respects his father. If Goku was such a bad father, he wouldn't have this much respect from his child. Gohan clearly looks up to Goku and sees him as a huge inspiration. Then when we move on to Goten, we do see there's moments between him and Goku as compared to Gohan, but we still see Goku being a good father to him as well. During the Tenkaichi Budokai Junior Finals between Goten and Trunks, we see Goku and Vegeta rooting for their sons, since they both want to see their sons achieve victory in the tournament. And obviously, a good father wants to see their child succeed at something they like doing. After Gohan was thought to have died, Goten was upset about it, but Goku had to tell him to man up since him and Trunks were the last warriors left to protect the Earth, so they shouldn't waste their time grieving. And at the end of Z, we see Goku train with Goten for the tournament, showing that Goku does also spend time with Goten as well. So although Goku missed Goten's birth and was dead during his childhood, Goku still spent at least 10 years with Goten after he came back to life, which was longer than the 7 years Goku was dead for. And then when we go into the Goku Black arc in Dragon Ball Super, Goku finds out that Zamasu killed Chi-Chi and Goten in a separate timeline. And even though they weren't from his timeline, he was still very angry after hearing that, and he proceeds to beat up Goku Black in rage. And even when Goku Black was knocked down on the ground, Goku still proceeded to attack when he was down, which is something that Goku would never do. He would normally knock down an opponent and give them mercy by telling them to leave the planet. Attacking an opponent when he's down is something Vegeta would do, and that is what Goku scolded Vegeta for doing when they were on Namek. So for Goku to act that way shows how angry he was in that situation after hearing what happened to Chi-Chi and Goten. And the last thing I want to address is the argument that Goku always leaves his family to go and train. I think this point is very exaggerated, because in Dragon Ball Z, the reason why Goku trained with King Kai was to prepare for the Saiyan invasion and to protect Earth. The reason why he trained on planet Yardrat was because the Ginyu spaceship he escaped in was set for planet Yardrat, and Goku thought he killed Frieza, so he knew his family and friends were safe. But when he was going back to Earth, he noticed Mecha Frieza had already landed, so he was about to use his intro-transmission, but Trunks had already killed Frieza before Goku had the chance. And the reason why Goku trained for 7 years in Otherworld was because he chose to stay dead to protect his family and friends. Then in Dragon Ball Super, he does train a lot on Beerus' planet, but it's not only to gain greater strength, but he also needs to be strong enough to defend the Earth from any world-ending threats. Not once has Goten or Gohan ever complained about Goku always training, because they understand why he trains. Chi-Chi seems to be the only one that complains about it, but Chi-Chi has always been a very strict parent and never thinks rationally when it comes to dealing with potential threats. She never wanted Gohan to fight despite his huge amount of potential, and she cared more about Gohan's education than the fate of the world, so Chi-Chi has always been one to over-exaggerate on things. So no, I don't think Goku is a bad father, nor do I think Piccolo was a better father figure to Gohan. And I hope people will start spreading this false narrative in the community, because it is clear that Toriyama wrote Goku to be a character who would prioritize the lives of his family over his own. And if you want to see more anime content like this, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.